Hello, this is math lesson video 5-6 for Friday, February 5th, 2021. At any point in time, if you need to pause the video to answer any questions your student may have or the video may have, you can do so at any time. Okay, let's get started.
Steve has 13 books. Claire has 4 fewer books than Steve. How many books does Claire have? What information does the problem give you? The problem tells you that Steve has 13 books and Claire has 4 fewer books than Steve. What is the problem asking you to find? You need to find how many books Claire has.
Let's find out.
You can use a bar model to show the problem. Which part of the bar model represents how many books Steve has? Select your answer.
Okay, the story problem said that Steve has 13 books. So this part right here where the 13 is shows how many books Steve has.
The 13 represents how many books Steve has. Which part of the bar model represents how many books Claire has? Select your answer.
Okay, the story problem said that Claire has 4 fewer books than Steve. So this would be the 4 fewer. So what we'd have to do is take 13 minus 4 to figure out how many books Claire has. So this, where the question mark is, represents how many books Claire has.
The question mark represents how many books Claire has. What does the 4 represent? The 4 represents how many fewer books Claire has than Steve. How does the bar model help you solve the problem? You can see the 13 books that Steve has. You can also see the 4 fewer books that Claire has. Since you know the whole and one part, you can find that Claire has 9 books. You can write an addition or subtraction equation to see how many books Claire has. You can subtract to find the missing part. 13 minus 4 is equal to 9. The two parts add to the whole. 4 plus 9 is equal to 13. How does an addition or subtraction equation help you solve the problem? Both of the equations show that 13 is how many books Steve has, and that he has 4 more books than Claire. You can add or subtract to find how many books Claire has. So, Claire has 9 books.
Okay, so this is what we're doing today. You need to be in your math workbook volume 1 and turn to page 329. That is page 329. Okay, if you're on page 329, it should look like this. Let's read the directions and we will get started. It says Josie has 5 more erasers than Lois. Josie has 7 erasers. How many erasers does Lois have? Write your answer below. Okay, so what do we know? Well, we know that Josie has 5 more erasers than Lois, and we know that Josie has 7 erasers. So we can put 7 erasers, the number 7 in Josie's box, and then I'm just going to draw circles. 7 erasers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we know that Josie has 5 more erasers than Lois. Okay, so she has more than what Lois has. Now, if we do an equation, blank, blank equals blank, and let's start filling this in. Okay. So we know that Josie has 7 erasers. and that's more than what Lois has. So that will be our sum because we're going to add. All right. Now the story problem says that Josie has 5 more. So plus 5 equals the 7 that Josie has. Now we're going to have to figure out what this missing number is in this first blank, and that'll be how many erasers Lois has. Okay, so if you get on your number line or number grid, 5, start on 5, and then see how many hops it takes to get to 7, and that'll be our number here. And if you do that, you find out that it takes 2 hops to get to 7 because 2 plus 5 equals 7. So now we know that Lois only has 2 erasers. 1, 2. Because 2 plus 5 more would equal 7, which is how many Josie has. All right? Okay, if you're good on that page, please turn to the next page. At the top is the person from the video, and they're showing you just what they did in the video on how to find the missing number. Okay, so let's get started. At number 1, I'll read the directions, and then we'll do it together. It says use the models to solve the problems. Number 1 says Sal has 8 more magazines than Gemma. Sal has 15 magazines. How many magazines does Gemma have? Okay, so Sal has 15, which is our big number, so they put it at the top, usually where the hole is. And it said that Sal has 8 more magazines than Gemma, so they put 8 in one of the parts. All right, so down here, they filled in the part of the, well, most of the equation, all of the equation. But we know that 15 is the whole, so fill that in. And then we know that Sal has 8 more magazines than Gemma. So we had to figure out what the missing number was. So if you got on your number line, you started on 8, and you took hops until you got to 15, you would have found out that if you take 7 hops, you will land on 15. So that is how many magazines Gemma has. 7. Because Sal has 8 more. So 7 plus 8 more equals 15. All right. We'll look on the next page. I want you to do, well, we're going to do number 2 together, but then after that, I want you to do 3, 4, and 5 on your own. Okay? All right, so let's do number 1. It says Alan picks up 3 toys. Then he picks up 8 more. How many toys did Alan pick up in all? Okay, so first he picked up 3. Then he picked up 8 more. We'd figure out what the whole is. All right, so we could fill in our addition equation pretty easily. So we'll fill in 3 plus 8. Those are our 2 add-ins. Then if you get on your number line, if you start on 8 and take 3 hops, you'll find that 8 plus 3 equals 11. So 11 will go in your whole box. And then in all, Alan picked up 11 toys. Now, number 3, you have to find the missing part. So something, actually, they do a subtraction problem here. So 11 minus 5 equals something. Okay? Down here, you get to make up your own equations. Okay, it looks like they have 2 parts, so that should be pretty easy. And then down here, you have to find the missing number. Okay, make sure that when you fill in the missing number for number 5 and for number 3, you try it out to see if it actually equals 11 and to see if it equals 17. Okay, make sure you check it, please. All right, when you're done with that page, you can work on problems on page 332. Remember, you don't have to do them all, just pick 1 or 2. There's also problems on page 333 and on page 334. When you are done with your workbook pages, please do your quick check on the Savas website. Do not get behind on those because it is tough to catch up. And that's it for today. Thank you.